This is Donna.
And this is TJ.
We're the Hills.
And this is
Dinner
and a Marriage.
Hello.
Welcome back.
It's us. We're back. And it is the time. Shop talk. Shop talk. Let's do a little shop talk with Donna. Like, follow, subscribe, and please hit that notification bell. So we come to you every week, and we are basically talking about our lives, things we relate to, maybe, or yeah, things we relate to. Maybe turn that off, and then you won't get the ding. So, yeah.
No, so originally the idea for having a podcast was mine, and then
It was.
you podjacked me.
I podjacked.
You
Is that
did.
a
You
thing?
straight up stole it and
Oh,
decided to make it
man.
all yours, and away we went. But today we are killing it. No, I'm wearing my murder underwear.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to post those Shinesty, right? Shinesty? Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but I will put it in the show notes, and so that you guys know what we're
What
talking
I'm
about.
wearing.
Yeah, murder underwear. So, I don't know how long ago, years ago.
Couple.
Yeah.
They don't have holes in them yet.
I don't mean those particular ones. I'm saying, like, I had signed you up for like a monthly boxer shorts.
No, it wasn't that often. It was like every couple, but still, yes, you signed me up because you felt bad because I was jealous of the bark box.
Oh, right. The dog got a bark box all the time, and right, I don't think he was jealous, but I saw
You never
these
know.
boxers, and they look like they would be very comfortable because they have like a little sling in them that hold all your parts, your bits and pieces. So anyways, wow, I'm really flying off on a tangent, but I will put a link below on what that subscription is, and shout out to BarkBox because we do love them. Woof.
All right. So, first, before we start, we should recap today's activities.
Okay.
I am a great house husband.
You are. We are actually doing dinner and marriage.
No, we ate dinner and we're still married.
That's true.
Yes.
So TJ made chicken Caesar salad. It was delicious. I
That is
actually
not all
think
I did
I
today.
want some more of that after
Good
we're
on ya.
done. But what else did you do today? Tell me what you did.
My garden got molested by either birds or bugs.
You're
And
gonna let it lean in.
killed all my cantaloupes, my watermelons, and my pumpkins. So I'm pretty upset about that. I started insulation and drywall in the pump house.
Yeah. Go, baby.
I got insulation about 3/4 of the way around the room. Nothing on the ceiling. And then I got about half of the room drywalled.
Nice. I haven't even seen it. I literally came home from work, we ate dinner, and popped on to here. And he set everything up. So, quick and easy.
You can see it right here.
What is it?
It says bitch
Wow.
right across my
I
forehead.
thought it just said, amazing husband.
That is spelled B-I-T-C-H.
Biatch. Wow. No. No. Oh my gosh, you're hilarious.
Oh, I did a greenhouse review today.
Oh, good. You made a greenhouse video?
I did.
Sweet. We'll have to get that posted.
I
Shout out to our other YouTube channel, at the
Did?
Hills on Wheels.
want to, yes. Shout out to those people. I did want to post it, but then I'm like,
I'm glad you did it.
Needs to
'cause-
get the
oh,
blessing.
you know, I want to do the edit.
of the lady. Oh, I already did the edit.
No. Even, sorry, I've got a hair on my microphone. Even, adding it to the one I already have going?
No.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking about, well, I was thinking maybe it would just be an Instagram post.
Oh, gotcha.
I videoed it so it's like phone,
Oh, okay.
like
Well,
on
we'll
purpose,
check that
but
out
we
later.
can add it to both or whatever.
Yeah. Sweet. The
It's pretty
greenhouse
dope.
is pretty awesome. We've got a
Ooh,
whole funky thing about that, so you guys will have to check that out.
the funk
But
is
it does
real.
look amazing, and it's
I
gonna
thought it was gonna fly away today.
no, and it's
Oh.
going to be perfect for us and what we're doing.
Perfect.
So let's get into today's podcast.
We're in today's podcast. Can't you just show up and be awesome?
No,
Nope, you were at work.
apparently I can't.
Huh.
So
Well.
we were gonna talk about basically some news that relates to some things with us in ways. It probably relates to everyone, really.
No, I think it relates to a lot of people. That's why I was like, oh, maybe we should talk about this.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you talk about it because you found the article.
Well, I just happened to be reading the news this morning, and I skim all the news, for
The
15, 20
Weekly
minutes.
World News.
And came upon this article, and it was actually in Cosmopolitan. Thank goodness I can't be like, oh, I bought the magazine. But it said, why so many young people are cutting off their parents? And I was like, seems like interesting and weird. And I was like, did a whole bunch of young people just all of a sudden get rich? And then they're like,
Oh, you're thinking of it like that?
yeah, at
Oh,
first that's what
funny.
I thought. I was like, oh, wow. Like,
I want to read this.
that's cool.
That's
Like, whatever. Not really.
That was an
right? But
enticing title for you.
yeah. And so
Sucked you in.
then it was just, I mean, I don't know.
It's
Essentially,
about a few different things. I didn't read the whole thing. I kind of skimmed it, but basically about in some relation they kind of put it like boomers, boomers and millennials, and how different growing up was. Kind of in that when I don't know if boomers just really went the straight and narrow, and not all, I'm sure, but your parents said, go to church, go to school, come home, do your chores. And they did those things. And our millennials, it wasn't quite the same. That's kind of where I was getting, or part of what I got from that article.
oh no, for sure. I've got that also. I think my main takeaway from it was kind of like, to a certain degree, and part of it's because of what we deal with and whatever, is I think that kids need to grow up here, suck it up, just deal with it, and kind of do what they're told. And I don't necessarily mean when you're 25 or 30 that, you should do everything your parents tell you if they're
Right.
just like a hammer fist on you,
Right.
trying to
for
make
sure.
it where you're going to do everything I say until I'm dead. Like, it's not like that.
Well,
but
of course not.
I think that,
Well, I say of course not, but I don't know. I'm sure there's some people, like, just in a small instance of, like, some kids are fine with, and I say kids loosely because, ages. Some are fine with just talking to their parents like they would talk to their friends, like, F this and that guy this, and they suck. And I would have not dreamt to say that to my dad.
oh
I would
no,
have never
never.
sworn in front of my dad, but it's
I
a
knew some
different,
people that were
definitely
raised that way, though.
different. Yeah.
And they all just did it. And
Yeah.
no one cared. And I would go over to their house and I'd be like,
Oh, I can't believe you said that to your mom.
Right?
For
Can't
sure.
believe your mom said that to you.
Right. Huh. Yeah. So, like, everybody obviously grows up differently. And I feel like, now being a parent and having adult children and thinking about it in retrospect of stuff that I think every parent thinks, I want to do this different than my own parents did.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's where, to a certain degree, with like our whole thing is, I'm like, we were pretty cool parents. Like, and we had our act together, and we like were mindful of making sure that the kids knew right from wrong and all the stuff. And like, when they were younger, you could take them places and people would be like, what in the world? Your kids are so well behaved. And you get a sense of pride, and then you go home and you just get, boom, the balloon popped.
Yeah.
But I think at the time, you feel like you're doing everything right. And then, I don't know, it's hit or miss. You get, 4 kids, and they're all different, and they're all creating their own path. And I think it's kind of like, I think that some people, what I got out of the article is I think that some people were just way too abrasive with their kids.
Oh, for sure.
And if you're going to be a parent like that, then, then your kids might not talk to you. Like when they get to be above 18 or they move out or whatever, right? Like if they're just like, wow, you're always on my case. But, I think also sometimes you got to like let your kids go be the prodigal son and just hopefully they turn around and
yeah,
you know what I mean? Everything changes for the better for them.
I think the thought as a parent myself was, I really hope, I still do, that with our kids being adults, that they actually want to come back, hang out with you as a person, and want to do stuff with you. You know what I mean? Not just like, oh, that's my mom and dad type of thing. Like you want to go, like Gary would want to go camping with us and, hang out and play games. And, like we used to do stuff with Gary all the time when we were in Washington as him as an adult. And that always made my heart happy to, like, my kids want to hang out with me, not just like, oh, hi mom, bye mom type of thing. That was always my thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think that everybody wants that. Like,
yeah.
But, it doesn't always happen. I mean, I know that I've always been like close with my parents and stuff though.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. You have.
I always wanted to really go hang out with them. And even when I was, I don't know, early 20s, a little more aloof and kind of like, just basically stupid, right? They would still call me up and say, hey, you want to go to dinner with us? Yes, I do. Right. I think that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like, ooh, it's a free meal. It's like, oh, that'll be cool. Like going and hanging out with the parents is fun. I never thought it was weird. And then I would tell some of my friends and they're like,
why are you hanging out with your parents?
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're a little weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They were always pretty cool and like laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we hung out with your parents a lot.
Yeah.
Mine was a little different scenario because my dad passed away, and my mom lives in another country. But I mean, I really lost a relationship with my mom when she left. I mean, she moved to Germany and kind of cut ties in some ways. I did try to mend a fence with her when Gary was little and fly out there, but that didn't quite go so well.
You got naked on a beach.
Yeah, we went to a nudist camp with her and her boyfriend. Yeah, that was
probably not weird.
All right. Oh my gosh, right? Okay. Wow,
we don't need to get in depth. I just wanted to make fun.
That's true. That did happen. Gary thought it was great. He was 2 and he's like, naked baby the whole time. He thought that was the best thing. He didn't care that everyone was naked. I didn't care that anyone was naked. I was not one of those people, but
touch and go. Touch
Still
and
a
go.
little bit awkward to. You didn't grow up that way, so a little awkward to see your mom and her boyfriend.
Roll them back up.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. So, I have to say this. We were there, and it's in Europe, right? And my mom just casually walks up to this guy and says, "Oh, are you circumcised?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want to die right now." And I was 23, 24 years old. And I'm like, I cannot believe she's saying this to this guy. And he's like, "Oh, no, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you."
And you look too.
No, I actually picked up Gary and walked away because I'm like, I can't.
Oh,
This
you
is...
wanted to.
Gary was like, "La-di-da, doodle, doodly-doo." I was
Wow.
like, oh no. And I'm
You
like,
had to
"Mom,
make it super weird.
why you have to say stuff like?" But she's always been very abrupt. Like, I would have a friend in high school that was a little overweight or underweight. She would be like, "What are you eating?" Like, "Mom, don't say that." Or somebody who had acne, she'd be like, "Oh, I have a dermatologist you could see." Like, "Mother, what are you doing?"
This is my fat friend.
Right? Like, oh my gosh. Huh. So yeah,
Huh.
she was very...
Blunt.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. She did not hold back. But yeah, so getting back to relationships and whatnot. So I didn't have the best of relationships with my mom. And then my dad and I had a pretty good relationship as adults. We lived in different states, but I talked to him once a week, and I did go visit him a couple times. He visited me in Seattle. Like, we had a pretty good relationship. I wouldn't say that we were really, really close, but blah, blah, blah. Wow. I did enjoy hanging out with my dad. He was fun.
Yeah, but I think that sometimes, like with your parents, you can. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can go through and have times where, I mean, if you live near them, right? Where
Yeah.
you see them a lot and whatever, but then there's still going to be times where you don't see them that much.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's just religiously like every single Sunday you're going to come over, every Saturday or whatever, and nobody ever screws anything up, and
Yeah.
it's like pure luck.
Well, we did that
But
for a decent amount of time with your parents.
no, we did. But there was also a time in my life where my parents were close, but I would still only see them every month or two.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't for like a huge period of time,
But
but
I think that's all circumstance. Like I say, my dad and I had a pretty good relationship, but when he got remarried, no one liked his new wife. And so it was hard to hang out with him because she would like overtake the conversation or not let him talk to you like in a candid way. And that made things really uncomfortable.
oh yeah, well that's what I mean. That's all sorts of circumstances in life that happens. So not everything is perfect, but
Right, for sure.
just the more that I read into that article, is I'm like, well, I mean, there's obviously some, like one of the girls that was in that article, her parents were of like some staunch religion, and her dad ruled like with an iron fist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get that that would be like really, really annoying, right? But some of it, I'm just like, well, I don't know. You don't like being told what to do in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think,
All right.
I don't know. I think that what I'm getting out of articles like this, the more prevalent they become, is that kids are just losing respect for their parents.
And I believe
And
that.
through either social media or just
What they learn in
other
school.
outside influences, what they learn at school and stuff. I think that some of that has been rapidly taken away, the respect for your parents.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it comes from public school.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that.
and I think it's sad because I think for the most part, most families and most parents do want the best for their children. And, I have a hard time believing that if all of our children had actually listened to me,
Yeah.
that some of their lives would be
Easier.
way easier than they are
Yeah.
currently. And
Which, and that might be something that, and I always think this and I pray for it, that maybe at some point they'll go, wow, I should have listened to that. And maybe I'll call my dad up and say, hey, remember that time you gave me that advice to do this? Like, tell me how to do that again. Like, maybe that would be something that could occur still in life. I think that would be awesome. But you definitely, like, we're talking, like, you see it in the difference. Like, we have an age gap between our kids, that the respect factor from, our oldest to our youngest, it's just so different. But it's almost like our oldest and our youngest are the most respectful of between it all.
no,
It's really
they're
funny.
they're all like super unique in their own way.
Yeah.
Personalities and everything, and they've all had their moments where I was like, wow, this child of ours is gonna be blah amazing, and didn't happen.
Right.
But then there's another time where you're thinking another child, like, man, this is like fantastic and whatever, and then not so much, and then I don't know. Or if you're like, oh, they're just doing their thing and, staying out of trouble and everything's all fine. But I think I think as a parent, you have to be open to letting your kids go enough
Yeah.
to where
And discover things.
to where they can like almost destroy themselves to rebuild themselves if necessary, right? Like not in so many terms. I'm not saying every child should go out and become a massive drug addict and like
no,
have some
please
like
don't.
crazy life and whatever, and then 5 or 10 years later be like, now his life's amazing. Like, no, not like that. But I just think that currently it just seems like all of our kids are on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, but that's at this point is where I feel also the most stern about going, this is their whole deal now. And when they finally turn around and come back and are like, yep, that sucked or whatever.
Right.
But I'm not gonna just keep trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna guide you through life and throw money at you
Right.
and like just
And that's
try to fix all your problems. As a parent you want to, but
Yeah.
everything like it just doesn't help.
That's such a hard thing, because you're like, oh, you see them struggling and they're your kids and you love them and you want to help them. But is it helping them by just being like, okay, here's $100 to get through your week? Or are they just going to keep coming back for that every week? Like, that's the tough part. But it's hard not to give in to that when you see them struggling.
Yeah, and part of it is, maybe if you don't agree with everything that your kids are doing, I think at that point, like, totally be their best friend, whatever, but it doesn't mean that you need to then support anything that, like,
Right, financially.
yeah, like if you're
Right.
like, I don't really agree with
What
the
are
way
you
that
doing
you're,
down there?
running your life, or the way that you're, blowing through your money, or just mismanaging your money, and
Right.
and half your struggle is your own deal. I don't think that that's the parents' responsibility.
Sorry, the dog's
Really?
nudging on me. Sorry,
Oh.
I just needed to move the cord out of the way.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that part of that too is, so, 3 of our kids are still in Washington State, and it's so hard there because the cost of living is so much. Sorry, that was loud.
I know. I'm sorry. There was crap on the table.
Yeah. It's hard to, like, I want to pick the hairs off my microphone, but I'm like, oh, wait, that's going to make sound.
You're supposed to lick them.
Ew. No? Okay. Anyways, so but it's difficult because it is such a high cost of living. And yeah, I want to, like, you want to do that parental thing and like scoop them up and be like, let me take care of you and things are going to be fine. But
they don't really want that either. Because they're
yeah,
going to be like, oh, that was cool for a day, but now don't touch me. And now I got my own thing to go do. And you're just not fun anymore. And
Aw.
ew. And that's what happens. So I don't know. I
But-
know that I created millions and millions of struggle for my own life. Like,
oh, we all have.
I decided to all aboard going down. Like, not cool. Like, that was the struggle bus that I got on.
Yeah,
And
I've been there.
you know, but it'll build character. I mean, that's why to a certain degree I'm like, you know, I mean,
Sometimes you have to struggle to move forward because it's like that thing. If someone's constantly helping you and, you know, pulling you out of that struggle, then you're just never move forward from that.
and this is also to not say that our life is amazing and we have no struggles.
Oh, for sure we
Because
do.
I
wait, let
believe
me-
that the bus is still parked in the driveway.
Yeah. But let me back up a little bit. So when I can't remember how old I was, but I was struggling. I had some financial struggles and I went to buy a car and I didn't have all of the down payment. And I had called my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, is there any way you could loan me?" And I never asked him to borrow money ever. And I said, "Is there any way you could loan me like $500 so I can get this down payment for this car?" And he was like, "Nope." I'm like, "Why, you're not even going to think about that?" Like, wow. I mean, okay. And he said, "You know what? You got yourself into it. Get yourself out." I was like, okay. And I did. I figured it out and got a cheaper car. That's basically what happened.
There you go.
So, but it was like, oh man. And I don't think there was ever, the only time my dad ever gave me money was when I was doing well. He'd be
Yep.
like, "Oh, here's $100 to go do or whatever. Go out to dinner, treat yourself." He wasn't willing to give me a handout when I was struggling because he figured I needed to figure out how to get out of that struggle.
Well, and then sometimes you get the handout and then you're like, well, you know, that was pretty easy.
Yeah.
And now I'm not the most responsible with that handout
All right.
or whatever. You know what I mean? That's a real deal.
Yeah, but on the other side, the flip coin of that, like many times I'm like, "Oh, you need some help? Okay, sure." And like I don't know if it's just that what it is that I just can't say that to the kids. I
You have to.
still am like, "Here you go.
You have the mommy
Here's some
heart
gas money." Yeah.
on your forehead. It says, sucker.
Sucker fool. Yeah, it's tough, but you go through that whole thing like it doesn't matter how hard you try to be a better parent than your own parent. You know, when you first have kids, you're like, "I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and they're going to love me and it's going to be amazing." It doesn't matter what you do. We all fuck up our kids at some point for some unbeknownst thing that you didn't realize you did.
Oh, no, it's true. But, you know, there's always still that that comparison. If you're like a kid and you're like, I'm never going to do this if I have kids
Right.
or whatever.
Never gonna
But
spank
I
my
mean,
kids.
I don't know. I still think that for a majority of it, my parents were better parents than I was.
I mean,
Wish I could have been
better
more
is
like my
tough.
parents.
But that's in retrospect too.
No, it is. But that's what I'm saying is in the currentness of everything that is, I'm going to say parents 1 or parents 3, TJ 2. How's that?
I don't
They're still in the lead.
I don't feel that way. I think everybody does it different.
Oh, they do.
It's like when I was talking to my sister and she's like, "Oh, we had a horrible childhood. Like our parents were not so great and whatever." And I was like, oh, I don't really remember it that way. But we didn't get into detail. Maybe at some point we will. But I was thinking like, I remember, and I told you this, like when I was young, that I felt like I had a decent childhood. I know in high school, like I made it rough on my parents just as much as they did on me. But part of that too was, my mom and the culture difference, and she had her own thing going on. And something you don't realize as a kid is like your parents have a life too.
Right?
Like that's the toughest part. Like they want to go out to dinner, they want to be with each other. This has to work in order for the whole family unit to work, or it doesn't work. It falls apart if this doesn't work, right? So like we made that a priority, that we had to get this right in order to get all of that working. And we co-parented together really well as far as disciplining and whatever. At least I think so. We had some factors of things that we couldn't control, but like we were always on the same page of this child needs to be grounded, or this kid, needs, like, parent teacher conference has to happen and things like
that child needs to be set on fire.
Right. Go dig a hole, babe. I'm just kidding. So yeah, we were pretty good on that front.
No, we were.
And we actually went through a tough time with parenting, and I feel like there was a point where I know that you wanted to blame me for some stuff because you were like, you're a stay-at-home mom, like I need you to be on top of this. I know we went through a little bit of that, but there was some
stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of stuff for a little while where we didn't really agree we didn't agree together collectively on just some things that had happened with a kid.
How dare you say we didn't agree?
Oh my gosh, but we got through it.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. Some of it was no bueno, but here we are, and we're awesome, and we got off a little bit of the topic-ish, kind of. I mean, we did good. But on an ending note,
we're already at 30 minutes.
When it comes to my day, back to me.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm selfish. I forgot to tell you, I did not get your ass blaster installed.
Oh, shoot.
Yes. Once I was all like in drywall and insulation and hot and sweaty and nasty, I was like, I'm not bringing all this in there to go do that. So,
dang.
No ass blasting for you.
Can you explain what an ass blaster is, or we're just going with it?
It's homie wants a bidet installed.
Yeah.
In the toilet.
I bought one.
And then it'll be like the Chevelle song.
It's a birthday gift from your mom.
Oh, I'm glad that you guys are that intimate together.
She sent me an Amazon gift card and I was like, oh, I got a bidet with that.
Wow.
Oh, man. Hey, some people like a clean derriere.
Well,
Wah, wah.
yeah, that'll be the clincher.
Clincher.
Like the Chevelle song,
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
right? Yep. And yeah, on that note, I think we're out.
Bye. And before you go, visit us on our social medias at Linktree/The Hills on Wheels, linktr.ee/The Hills on Wheels, no spaces.